So keep up alive here. We just did a talk about doors. Now I'm going to talk about what I do with this denim insulation. You hear me talk about Ultratouch, you hear me say stuff all the cavities. Well, I can say that, but let's start showing you guys some of what this means. Car was recently stolen. It was recovered with body damage, so they had to fix it. As a result of them needing to get to the recorder, I pulled this bag out of just this rear quarter. You can kind of see I got some stuffed up in there still. There's a decent amount of cavity there. That's hollow. Again, it's going to resonate. Deadener helps with structural resonance, but not necessarily acoustic resonance. Stuff in the air. Those cavities will resonate at bass frequencies and sound overly terrible. It also kind of hurts transmission loss. It allows more road noise in, nothing to absorb it. So I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm going to stuff it all up in there. Again, you know, this is organic, so it can't get wet, but this is a part of the car that should never get wet. If that ever gets wet, well, you got lots of problems. You can see this itself is also organic. So the manufacturer put some of this material in there. You know, worst case, if this is a flood car, well, guess what? All this stuff is junk. But that's why we hope it never goes in the river. So if you got any questions, let me know. I'll show you what it looks like after I stuff all this back in there. From a safety precaution standpoint, it is easy to touch. It's not going to itch. It's not going to bother your skin. You could sleep on it, but as you tear it, it produces dust. And you don't want to breathe in dust particles at any point in time. It's not going to harm you. It's not going to give you cancer, allegedly. But again, put a mask on, wear a respirator, protect your lungs. We'll see you after I get this in. So now you can see I've basically got that entire cavity filled. Both cavities are like that. Anything else in the trunk is like that as well. The roof, just all the structural ribs throughout the entire cabin of the car, on the floor, and there's just little itty bitty holes in there, so you end up, I find like some 10 gauge wire is good. Piece by piece, just stuff it in. You can see a little bit right there sticking out a little bit still, so every cavity in this car, I went through a 50 cubic foot bag is stuffed with this. The car's, like I said, it's mostly non-resonant. Overall, sounds pretty good. You can kind of see in the film some of the fibers still blowing around from me just kind of tearing it and messing with it. So, oh, and I didn't mention it, but you should obviously wear gloves anytime you're stuffing your hand around sheet metal. These factory edges have a tendency to be unfinished, and you can cut up your hands pretty quick. So, protect yourself with gloves, respirator, stuff to your heart's content. Just keep packing it in. The more dense it is, the more good it's going to do you. So, any questions? Hit me up.